Wow, you are fast, my friend. You are fast. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to get this done in about 15 minutes tops. I got a lot of information to convey here about AMC setting brand new records, GameStop's possibility of a merger news coming on December 10th, and even Kash Patel and the FBI, the new FBI director, who's being appointed by Donald J. Trump, is investigating Citadel Securities for market manipulation. So, hey, Terry, Maple Syrup Cooch, welcome back. So, the most important news here is Jim Cramer, Inverse Cramer, is in full effect. Jim Cramer has said, if AMC gets to 6, I want you to sell it. So I am going to be loading the boat in anticipation of AMC going much, much higher than $6 in the very near future, because it is very clear that anytime Jim Cramer says anything, the opposite happens. So this was just posted over the weekend on Saturday by Insider Monkey, and Jim Cramer just came out and said this. Hey, Felix, John Doe, welcome back, my friends. Thank you for supporting the channel. AMC theaters welcomed more than 8.8 million moviegoers worldwide on Wednesday through Sunday in the United States. AMC has set a new Thanksgiving holiday period records for attendance, admissions, revenue, food and beverage revenue, and total revenue. Absolutely huge. Let me fix this camera. So as you guys can see, this is no small feat. This is absolutely massive. We are looking at a top 10 gross Thanksgiving Day that greatly eclipses anything that has ever been seen before at the domestic box office for a historical Thanksgiving 5-day domestic box office numbers. And AMC Theaters came out with a press release today and a tweet as well from Ryan Noonan and CEO Adam Aron, saying that based on attendance at its U.S. theaters, AMC enjoyed its busiest pre-Thanksgiving week Wednesday, busiest Thanksgiving Day, busiest Black Friday, and busiest 5-day Thanksgiving holiday period in the company's entire 104-year history. If you think this isn't bullish, I don't know what is wrong with you. But I got one thing to say to you. The reason that Jim Cramer is shilling for his short hedge fund buddies right here is because today, every single movie theater and movie company is at all-time highs, with the exception of the one deep fucking value stock, AMC. I'm talking about Cinemark, IMAX, even AMC X, which is not AMC Theaters, that's AMC Entertainment Networks on television. Many of these other film companies and movie theaters are at new all-time highs today alone. But of course, today, as we have all heard, the shills are pushing hard to keep the company shorted. Citadel Securities and Ken Griffin have stated many times that they set the price of securities where they want them to be valued. So what I'm seeing here is Jim Cramer trying to convince people to sell to AMC when it goes up to $6, which it appears to be it's going to happen in the very near future. AMC came out with this information that they have had their biggest and busiest 5-day Thanksgiving holiday period in the company's entire 104-year history based on attendance, admissions revenue, food and beverage revenue, total revenue. Absolutely huge numbers, just setting things off. Friday, November 29th was their second highest total revenue day. Admissions revenue plus food and beverage revenue in history, only behind the Avengers Endgame opening weekend in 2019. November 29th, Friday, was also AMC's highest attendance Black Friday and the second busiest Friday in AMC's history, and the highest total revenue Friday ever in their 104-year history. Thursday, November 28th, was the busiest Thanksgiving day in the company's history based on attendance and admissions revenue. Wow. Just absolutely massive. I am so incredibly bullish on this company right now that the current stock price is such a fucking deal. Dr. Gummy, yes, I told you guys XRP was going to go above $1, well, when it was still in the 50-cent range. And, well, here we are. It's now over $2. But I don't have much time to talk about that. I've got about 7 minutes to finish conveying this information. It's more great news. Frank Nez was awesome enough to post this on his website, franknez.com. Citadel is now being forced to pay the consolidated audit trail fees after losing this motion. All of you here watching this channel, or at least most of you here that have been here for a while, are well aware that we have been championing for the CAT system for a long time. It basically puts fingerprints on every order that occurs in financial markets so that market manipulators cannot get away with doing things like naked shorting stocks and spoofing stocks without leaving a trail of fingerprints all over it. So the Securities Exchange Commission, maybe not right now under Gary Gensler, but the Securities Exchange Commission under the incoming commissioner, who is going to be appointed by Donald Trump, can work together with the Department of Justice to go after market manipulators and large institutions that are out there illegally naked shorting stock and spoofing stocks, in order to not only give them civil fines through the SEC, but also give them criminal convictions through the Department of Justice. Citadel is now forced to pay CAT fees after losing a motion to block the funding of the system that means to provide investors with transparency in financial markets. In a significant ruling that underscores the ongoing tension between Wall Street firms and regulators, an appeals court has denied Citadel Securities' motion to block the collection of fees intended to fund the consolidated audit trail. This decision comes as Citadel and other broker-dealers continue their efforts to undermine a system that would increase transparency in the equities markets, raising concerns about their motivations and the potential harm to retail investors. The CAT is designed to provide a comprehensive view of every trade executed in the market, creating a valuable tool for monitoring trade activities and identifying manipulative behavior. For firms like Citadel, which have been scrutinized for their trading practices, the existence of such a detailed audit trail presents a significant challenge. The very nature of the CAT system threatens to expose questionable tactics that may have been employed to manipulate stock prices, which could ultimately harm retail investors who rely on fair and transparent markets. On Wednesday, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit ruled against Citadel and the ASA, rejecting their urgent request to halt the SEC and the self-regulatory organizations from collecting necessary fees to maintain the CAT. This ruling allows the SEC to move forward with the funding of this critical market surveillance tool, despite Citadel's attempts to derail the project while they seek to terminate it altogether. The implications of this decision are profound, goes on to say Frank Nez, and I totally agree with him. Citadel's legal maneuvering suggests an alarming willingness to prioritize self-interest over the integrity of the financial system. By attempting to block the CAT, Citadel is not just fighting for its bottom line, it's also resisting measures that could protect retail investors from potential market abuses. The CAT's ability to track and analyze trades could expose practices that disproportionately disadvantage individual investors, further entrenching the power of institutions like Citadel. I could go on reading this, but I think most of you guys have heard this from us before. If you are sick and tired of the bullshit that's going on in dark pools, sick and tired of the wholesalers like Citadel internalizing your trades, sick and tired of Robinhood, Webull, IBKR, and every other major broker out there sending your orders to be internalized, to be traded in dark pools, to be front-run by hedge funds, to be manipulated over and over again, to fail to deliver, go look into Lit Exchange. So far, Lit Exchange has raised over $500,000 from retail investors like yourself, in which we are giving you the first in the world opportunity to own equity and shares in an upcoming stock and crypto brokerage before its launch and before its eventual IPO. So take a good look at that. Go to litexchange.com, or you can go to the link there in the side. And you guys can learn a lot more about Lit Exchange. This is not about making quick cash. This will probably be a couple-year hold. But the reality of the matter is that you will receive something that nobody else has ever had the opportunity to receive in the history of the world. Again, we are the first company to ever do this under Donald J. Trump's Jobs Act that was established in 2019, and we are giving retail investors the chance, instead of going to large hedge funds like Robinhood and the likes. Robinhood raised $3 million in their pre-seed round through Sequoia, and instead of giving Sequoia the opportunity to own our company, we are giving that to retail investors such as yourself, because we are for retail by retail. Now, I've got about 5 minutes tops. So, Enron.com may be returning as a cryptocurrency company. This is absolutely fucking wild, if you ask me. And I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. Let's put it that way. But the reality of the matter is that there are some signs that, and if you put your tinfoil hat on, I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat right now. There are some signs here pointing to the fact that Enron may possibly be merging with GameStop. Whether or not this is going to happen, I don't know. But let's take a look at this quick post from Edwin Barnescu. And just so you guys know, this countdown on Enron's website, which was one of the biggest scams in 2008 through the financial crisis, leads to the exact same day that GameStop is issuing their third quarter earnings for 2024, December 10th. And Edwin here posts some very interesting news. The Enron.com website shows a butterfly with a countdown to December 10th. And he's right. I verified it. It's in this video. You'll see the butterfly pop up here in a second. And it's right there. Now, here's what's worth mentioning, he says. FTX collapsed, SVB bank collapsed, BlockFi, what do they all have in common? They all had used restructuring teams from BBBY. Now he asks why. In order to launch a new monetary system and issue shares for a new company, he says. Now, whether this is true or not, I'm not entirely sure. But it is definitely something interesting that I'm going to keep my tinfoil hat on and be watching. Inyo Base asks, what's the benefits of GameStop? Now, that's another thing that people have been wondering, and I've been wondering a little bit as well. The fact is, though, I don't know if they're going to merge with Enron or not, or if they're going to create a new company off their back. But we do know that GameStop has over $4.5 billion in cash on hand. They are restructuring and reforming the company in order to build a much larger, stronger entity. In my opinion, it's going to be much bigger than just video games. So will they return as a cryptocurrency? Will they return with some sort of tokenized securities? I'm not sure about that. But there are some things here that are very telling. They're talking about, expanding further on energy. And if they come back in the future as an energy company or as a cryptocurrency company, I'm not sure. Right? Inyo Base asks, I thought securities tokenization was something that's bad for us. FTX screwed us. The tokenization of securities of existing assets like AMC and GameStop, in my opinion, being used by other firms like FTX, and that is bad for retail investors. But if GameStop is possibly doing something to tokenize their own securities, that would be a different story, because they could then potentially delist or back their shares with an actual asset, like a one-to-one backed tokenized security that they would control. So they would be able to see on the blockchain if there were synthetics being created. No, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm saying that that's a possibility. I don't necessarily agree with what Edwin is saying here about securities tokenization, but I'm saying that it's a possibility. Enron and GameStop both having a countdown to December 10th in separate places, both being handled by restructuring teams from BBBY, who you guys may or may not know. I've been using the butterfly as a symbol. That's something that we've seen now from BBBY, from GameStop, from Ryan Cohen for an extended period of time. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I personally don't think that bringing Enron back is a great idea at all. I personally I posted a tweet earlier today that this is a fucking clown world situation in which Enron is trying to come back in the midst of the greatest Ponzi schemes and the greatest scams that we've seen in many, many years. With everything going on with SMCI, Super Microcomputer, basically not having anybody to audit their firm, hiring one person to audit their firm, and then that person claiming we investigated ourselves and found that we've done nothing wrong, is kind of the epitome of what's going on in this bubble of this asset class, these bubble of assets that we're seeing in all ranges of classes, whether it's stocks, cryptocurrencies, real estate, bonds, etc. But in this very moment, I do not suspect that things are going to turn around for the worst in markets just yet. I do think that there's significant upside here to be had in financial markets for the time being. And that's simply because we cannot fight the Fed. You cannot fight what's currently happening. And it will be a significant period of time, maybe a few weeks, a few months here, before something happens to really turn it around. But for now, the markets continue to rip upwards, especially with the potential inclusion of a cryptocurrency-friendly Securities Exchange Commission commissioner. And we have found out almost positively that it will not be Hester Pierce. So that is also a good thing for a lot of people in financial markets. I've got 1 minute left, and I've got to say, maybe I could stretch it to a couple more, but Devin Nunes and Kash Patel were instrumental in dismantling the Russian hoax. Kash Patel was the author of the famous memo that exposed how the FBI lied in FISA warrants to spy on Carter Page. He has exposed how the bogus Steele dossier was funded by Hillary Clinton's campaign and used to frame President Trump as a Russian agent, of course, wrongfully. And for those of you that don't know, Gary Gensler was Hillary Clinton's chief financial officer and claims to not have known about the $1 million payment that was made from the Hillary Clinton campaign to fund the Steele dossier. As the CFO of her campaign, I find that hard to believe, that a man who worked at Goldman Sachs, who has been in the industry for decades, was unable to find $1 million missing dollars in a bank account of which he was the chief financial officer is a fucking joke. Is a complete joke. And that just goes to show you how tied together the Democratic Party, Gary Gensler, Hillary Clinton, the Biden administration are all in this together, along with Barack Obama and the rest of these deep state fucks. Here, Greg Price says, you're about to see millions of liberals, journalists, and former deep state spooks on MSNBC say that Kash is dangerous for the FBI. The reason is because he fought and was successful in exposing some of the worst corruption surrounding the FBI. And that is absolutely correct. And you know what's coming next? Right now, for those of you guys that don't know, Devin Nunes and Kash Patel are working hand in hand to investigate naked shorting by Citadel Securities of DJT stock and many other stocks in financial markets. I feel that Kash Patel, working together with Devin Nunes, for those of you that don't know, Kash Patel is the upcoming director of the FBI who is being appointed by Donald Trump. And if the Senate does not appoint Kash Patel, Donald Trump can still make him the director of the FBI for 420 days, 420, for a period of 420 days without needing to be confirmed by the Senate. And when that expires after 420 days, on the 421st, he can do it again. Devin Nunes is the CEO of Truth Social, Donald J. Trump Media Group. Working together, these guys have been talking a lot about market manipulation, about naked shorts, about the Democratic Party, about the 1.1% manipulating finance and how they can actually make change. And in my opinion, they're working on something huge here. With the proof of the information that they're getting from DJT stock, they're going to use that as a benchmark to investigate across all other classes of heavily shorted equities, meme stocks, precious metals, etc., whether it be DJT, AMC, GameStop, silver, gold, exchange-traded funds like PSLV, GLD, etc. They will find significant malfeasance that has occurred here by companies like Citadel Securities and Virtue Financial, allegedly, and then there will be hell to pay. There will be massive reforms here. As you guys may or may not know, I have personally worked with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s administration team here for, I don't know, I'd say over a year and a half. We worked to provide them with all of the information we possibly could about what's happening in markets and how they could reform markets for the better. And I'm actually seeing them with my own eyes implement some of these things now. So I'll leave you guys with that. I got to go. We got to pick up my daughter from school. I wish you all peace and wealth. If I didn't get to see your chat because I haven't had a chance to read it, trying to get through all this information, I want you guys to please drop it in the comments here after this video, and then we can discuss it further. I will answer any questions you may have in the video as soon as it's over. Go ahead and do that now. Cheers, my friends. I wish you peace and wealth. Read the hat, motherfuckers. Let's go. Don't forget to go to litexchange.com. Do yourself a favor. First time in history that any upcoming stock or crypto brokerage has ever offered retail the chance to own equity in the company before any hedge fund or family office or venture capital firm. This has never happened before. We are literally setting and making history together every single day.